So in the next step, what we have to do is create kind of like this lower surface, which kind of like is the groove between the two shells, and then of course the surface that goes around it. You can't see because basically it overlays with this line. This distance is roughly 5 millimeters, and as you can see, the height of the side surface here, that insert, is roughly 0.25 millimeters. So I'm going to, actually first I'm going to select those surfaces and hide them for a moment, so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. And then zoom in a little bit. So this edge here, which I'm moving my mouse along, then I would like to extrude, but then scale it inwards. So far we always extruded something along, for example here, the x-axis. I could also use the y or the z-axis. So it's kind of like extruding along a direction. But this time I need to actually extrude towards a point, and it's kind of like shrinking, or for example an offset. So to do this, we can, for example, go to the multi-surface draft tool. Then I could maybe click on this line and I say this draft piece. Could also select the line, but I would like to create my surface based on the geometry, so the surfaces I created. And there you can see we have a length of 5. Well, this should be 0.5. Well, I'll leave it back to 2 so it's easier to see. And you see when I click X, it goes this direction. If I go Y, it goes this direction, or Z, this direction. And what happens maybe if I start rotating this? You see? Then it points inwards. So I need to change this to 90 degrees. And then it basically extrudes it along the x-axis, but then the extrusion end, so this profile curve where it should end, is rotated 90 degrees. So this is kind of like, yeah, like an offset surface. And then of course I have to set in the correct length, so 0.5 millimeters, press OK, and that is pretty good. Okay, so I can, for example, then click next because I would like to create the next surface, and that is this surface, the insert here, that is 2.5 millimeters long. So I can select this line, and then, so it's easier to see, I'm increasing the size, set this one to 0, and every time when I put in a value I hit enter to make sure that alias really is auto updating, and then of course 0.25, press enter, and then I can close this draft tool, and you see that it moves it 0.25 along the x-axis. And then when I go into a side view and zoom in, maybe I turn on the shaded mode, and you see that this surface now perfectly stops at the z-axis. And that's basically then how, for example, you can create a little bit of sketch, plan your dimensions out, and then use numeric values to create your surfaces, and everything, when you use also the grid and even steps, will perfectly fit inside your scene. That in the long run will save you a lot of trouble, because nothing is more annoying than when you start creating something and somewhere at the beginning you have a small inaccuracy, and that is going to throw off your complete model and you would have to backtrack and fix that.